B'chaf Hei B'Kislev, on the 25th of Kislev. You want to see where I am? Shmonat Yemei Chanukah begin the 8 days of Chanukah. V'asurim, and they're forbidden behesped v'tanit, in a eulogy or in any kind of fasting. So we don't eulogize anybody if they pass away in this time period, and we do not fast. Aval, but mutarin b'asiyat melacha. A person is allowed to work on Chanukah. Not to go to work. Not just work. They're allowed to, melacha here literally means it's not Shabbat. You can light fires, you can cook, you can clean, it's no prohibition there. V'no hagot. And nohagot anashim, the women have a custom, shelo la'asot melacha, not to do any labor. Be'od she'hanerot dilkot, so long as the candles are lit. V'yesh mi shomer, and there's someone who says, this is the two he's quoting, she'en l'hakel lahem, that you cannot be lenient for women at all. Meaning, it's not just a custom, but the women are not allowed to work. Period.
They're supposed to make the lights.
That would be included in the category of not being allowed to work. You know that.
But only while the candles are burning.
Gonna go on a latke strike.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
Then what will we do?
Be healthier.
that's
The
right.
men will make them will be like raw potatoes and a lot of oil.
The next halakha says,
I've had them like that.
Ribuy hasiudot, the shemarbim bahem, the meals that we eat on Chanukah, the extra meals that we eat during Chanukah, hem suudot harishut, they are optional. Shelo keva'um l'mishteh v'simcha, because this holiday was not established for drinking and rejoicing.
All the holidays like that.
My wife and I, when we got married, I realized that the way she celebrates Chanukah and the way I celebrate Chanukah are very different. And so we had to open up a Shulchan Aruch and see who's right. Obviously I'm right, but it doesn't make a difference. She's not here to defend herself. Yeah, we're going to talk about this. What does it mean you have a holiday that's not meant to be for rejoicing? But understand here that while most holidays have rules, you must eat a certain amount of meals, you must drink a certain amount of wine, you have to make kiddush, you have to v'samachta b'chagecha, you have to rejoice in your holiday. Chanukah doesn't have any of these rules. If you want to eat meals in them, fine, but you don't have to. There's no third meal you have to have on Chanukah. Everything is, we don't fast, but you don't have to eat a meal, any kind of meal.
It's like a free holiday in a way.
Yes.
Well, you know the joke everybody always says. Every Jewish holiday is, they tried to destroy us, we won. Let's eat.
Let's eat.
Yeah.
Haga, the Ramah steps in here. V'yesh omrim, and some say, sheyesh k'tzat mitzvah b'ribuy ha'seudot. There is a little bit of mitzvah in increasing your food consumption. There's a little bit of mitzvah in adding meals to this holiday.
Where are you reading this?
In the Ramah. It's going to be in the small script, in whichever book you have.
In the Rashi?
Might be a Rashi script. It's only look at the top of the page. No, look at the...
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Okay.
If it was up to me, you wouldn't have Rashi script in any books. Mishum, the reason why there's an idea, Deve'otan hayamim haya chanukat hamizbeach. In those days, there was a rededication of the mizbeach, and therefore there's an idea to eat meals in commemoration of that. ונוהגים לומר זמירות ותשבחות בסעודות שמרבים בהם, and people have a custom to sing songs of thanks to Hashem during those meals that are optional. V'az have seudat mitzvah, and once you sing songs to Hashem in an optional meal, that meal now becomes not an optional meal, but a meal of a mitzvah.
Once you sing song.
Yeah, that's what makes it a holy meal.
So, but it's saying there's a change of status from optional to...
Because they sing songs of thanks to Hashem. Yesh omrim, some say, sheyesh lechol gvina b'Chanukah, that people should eat cheese on Chanukah. It doesn't say dairy here. It says cheese, notice. Lefi shanes nasa b'chalav. Because the miracle happened through milk. Shehechila Yehudit et haoyev, if you remember the story, the Yehudit fed the enemy milk. She got him sleepy with milk, and then she kills him. We'll talk about this, don't worry, we're going to get there. That's the story. The third halakha.
So how do they get cheese out of this?
because she fed him dairy food.
So it is milk.
So it should be milk, but he says
Milk
cheese.
product.
All right.
Cheese comes from milk.
You know, who am I?
Maran says, "Ein maspidim behem el chacham b'fanav." We don't eulogize on these days. Except for the Torah scholar in his presence. If the Torah scholar is actually there, his body is there, then that's an exception to this rule of not eulogizing. But we'll get there still. I'm rewinding to the beginning of the chapter and taking out some of the parents' notes. If you wanted to see this actual inside, I'm going to tell you the story of Yehudit now. Now you'll know what happens. Those of you who have a Mishnah Berurah, that means those with the book with the vowels. It's in the note in the middle right column, Yud. Mishnah says Mishnah Berurah, Yud. Shechila Yehudit. Yehudit fed the enemy. He hayta bito shel Yochanan Kohen Gadol. She was the daughter of Yochanan the Kohen Gadol. והייתה גזירה שכל ארוסה תיבעל לתפסר תחילה. The rule was that every lady who was engaged had to first sleep with a general. והאכילה לראש הצוררים גבינה לשכרותו, and she therefore fed the head of all these enemies of the Jewish people cheese. Here it says cheese again. Something dairy. And it made him tired and sleepy. Some kind of fatty food. וחתכה את ראשו, and she cut off his head. וברחו כולם, and everybody ran away. And therefore, aside from the general miracle of Chanukah that Jewish people celebrate, there is a miracle that has to do with dairy, that has to do with women, specifically. That being said, let me tell you here what the notes are. The Mishnah Berurah brings down an opinion that the people who don't work while the candles are lit, specifically are women, not men. Men don't get a night off on Chanukah. It's the ladies who don't work because there was a miracle that happened on their hands. There's some places though, the Maharal brings down, and the Bach also brings down, that men also didn't work while the
Minimum
candles were
half
lit.
an hour, right?
What?
Minimum half an hour, 30 minutes.
30 minutes. But we're saying, it doesn't mean if you have a Chanukiah with oil that lasts the whole night. You know, it's
Oh, now you're off.
That's a limitation.
the Elia Rabbah, the Maharil, sorry, the Bach, they all say that even men shouldn't work. So Peretz says, Haikar gam
The
hanashim.
whole day?
No, just
But
while
Peretz says,
the-
my opinion is,
while the candles are lit.
Candles burn.
the Peretz says, my feeling is that everybody, even the men, shouldn't work, shouldn't do any kind of melacha, at least for that first half an hour while the candles are lit.
Yes, that's half an
I
hour.
want to explain now where this comes from.
Half an hour is okay. Half an hour makes time to make
It seems to be
latkes.
that the rabbis were worried that the ladies who are the ones who work in the home, they're going to start making latkes. It's dark. It's nighttime. They might come to use the Hanukkah candles for light. If a rabbi said, at least for that time that the candles are lit, you shouldn't use light. Question, what about the men? The men don't do anything? So our says today where men do something, could be there was a time where men really didn't do anything. Where men do something, them coming to use the light is a real thing. It's a real issue, and therefore they also should be careful not to work in that time period. What about nowadays? The bottom line is that today nobody uses light of Hanukkah candles. You have lights in your house. Even if you light 100 Hanukkah candles, you wouldn't come to use that light. It's not anything that you would use. And therefore, Halacha Peretz argues that this whole custom doesn't apply anymore. Because the reasoning doesn't apply anymore. He says there are much older customs that people don't keep, that they should start keeping first before they keep this one. But, if you push Halacha Peretz up against the wall, don't actually do it. If you would,
Yeah, so
he will tell you that it's a good thing when you light Hanukkah candles just to focus on the Hanukkah candles. Forget the reasons that our rabbis gave. It's a good thing. You don't light the candles and run away to the kitchen. You don't light the candles, run away to the bathroom, run away to the work, run away to... It's a good thing to light candles and to sit with them a little bit, to learn a little bit, to sing with them, to be with your family a little bit. And therefore, even though maybe halachically this reason doesn't apply, it's a good thing. It's a good custom to have. You want to say half an hour? Let's give it half an hour. That man and woman and children, they light candles, just sit together and enjoy the light of the Chanukah candles. Not using it, the light of the Chanukah candles, but being in the presence of the Chanukah candles. The Torah brings down a custom that there were places that they didn't work the whole day. And not just because they had a lot of oil on their Chanukah yet. Okay, that's not a custom that I know that anybody has. Siv bet. I do have to complain though about the day, people working. I don't mind people go to work. That's not a problem. Everyone has to work. I struggle with the fact that in many places I've noticed that Jewish schools don't give off for Hanukkah. They give off for Xmas. That's what they'll do. And when it happens to coincide with Hanukkah, the kids get off for Hanukkah. But if not that, they would be in school for Hanukkah and they would be out for the other holiday season. Now, I'm torn. The reason why schools sometimes choose, especially in a place like San Diego, to have school on a Jewish holiday is because some of these kids are going to be at homes where they're not even going to observe the holiday. And therefore, why do I bring kids back to school on Purim? Because, your kid might go to shul on Purim and hear the Megillah and they'll wear a costume and sing and dance. But another kid might go home and then I don't know, his parents go to work and he's at home watching a PlayStation or I don't know what people play today, computer games or whatever he's doing. There's no holiday and therefore I want to give him a little bit of the holiday. Fine, okay. The Rambam was famous for saying, if there are sick people, you have to give them medication. But healthy people shouldn't take medication if they're healthy. Why are you giving healthy people medication? My children should be at home on Chanukah. My children should see a Chanukah candle. What do we do on Chanukah? How do we live on Chanukah? Somebody else's children? Fine. How does that work? I don't know. I'm not a principal in the school, so I don't know how to do this. I'm not complaining. I'm suggesting. If it's important enough for other holidays to have 2 weeks off to be with their family, our holiday shouldn't be any less.
It's important they all take a medication. Medication comes top priority.
What happened with the medication?
Medication is important for his health. He has to take a medication.
Correct. So the people who are sick should take the medication.
Right.
Yeah, but if you gave the same medicine to someone who is well, it could make them sick.
That's exactly what the Rambam was
Like,
trying to say.
if someone has a heart condition, God forbid, they take a medicine to protect their heart. But if you gave the same medicine to someone with a normal heart, it would make their heart speed up or slow down. It's the same type of thing.
Very good. Now let's see here something interesting. It said in the second halakha that all these meals that we have, and they're celebrating, and whether you're supposed to be happy on Chanukah and drinking, so the Gemara on Shabbat, Masechet Shabbat, which by the way, if you want to find the Chanukah in the Talmud, it's only going to be in Masechet Shabbat. Why? Because Shabbat talks about oils, talks about this kind of thing, so in there they threw in the idea, there's no Masechet on Chanukah. You have a Masechet on Megillah, but not on Chanukah. The Gemara Masechet Shabbat says that a year later, after the Chanukah miracle, our rabbis instituted a holiday. They made them Yamim Tovim, holidays. B'Halel, with Halel, that you say in the synagogue, V'Hoda'ah, and giving thanks to Hashem. Halel,
But no
what's
one's-
included in Halel? What do we do on Chanukah different than any other holiday? With our Halel, how's it different than Rosh Chodesh, for example?
it's full.
It's a full Halel. In some Sephardic Siddurim, you'll see, it says Halel Gamur. In the Al Nisim, they'll say a full Halel. That we make sure it's not a half Halel, it's a full Halel. It's a real holiday. What is Hoda'ah? When do we give thanks to Hashem for the miracles that He did for us?
On Chagim.
On which part of the... I don't know, on Chanukah. Which part of Chanukah?
Me, when you say
If
Halal,
Halel is Halel, so when do we give thanks to Hashem? It says that they established it for Halel and for Hoda'ah. For Halel and for Thanksgiving. What is the Thanksgiving? When do we do that?
Oh, when we get up the first thing in the morning.
Yeah, that's every day.
Yeah, that's every day.
We're talking about specifically Hanukkah.
What do you add
Oh,
into the
then there's
tefillah?
Shmon Yesrei. There's a...
Allah Nisim.
Allah Nisim.
Allah
Yeah.
Nisim.
What are the last words of Al Nisim?
There's
We
one
give
that.
thanks to you for this miracle. That is the Hoda'ah. Rabbis instituted something they didn't do for many other holidays. A blessing in the Thanksgiving part of the Tefillah. In the Hoda'ah part of the Tefillah, we have an extra paragraph for that holiday. Only at Purim and Chanukah. You don't have that on Pesach. On Chanukah, Purim. These are the holidays that have it. That's what it means.
But no musaf.
Correct. Why no musaf? Tell me.
There's no extra offering in the
Okay, I mean the biblical holidays have extra offerings that were offered, and therefore an extra prayer. It's not a biblical holiday, therefore it doesn't have an extra offering. The Rambam writes something interesting. The Rambam says that they established for us Yemei Simcha v'Halel. They established days of joy and of Halel. Not like what the Gemara says, Halel v'Hoda'ah, which was Halel and Thanksgiving, but rather a rabbi said, the Rambam says, it was Yemei Simcha v'Halel. What does Simcha mean? Simcha tells us that you have to be happy on Chanukah. I know this sounds like a fun thing, but you have to be happy. If you're not happy on Tuesday, you don't violate any biblical prohibition. Yeah, it says mitzvah gdol b'simchat tamid. You know who said that? Rabbi Nachman of Breslau. You know what the Lithuanian community responded back to him? Show us where it says there's a mitzvah to be happy. There is no mitzvah to be happy. What are you saying? It's a big mitzvah. It's not even a small mitzvah. I'm not here to stick my head in our wars with Hasidim and Mitnagdim. It's not my fight here.
If you're not
On
happy,
Chanukah-
you would be sad.
No, not be sad. Just I don't have to go out of my way to be happy. See, Judaism is a strange religion. We command people to do things like, you must love them. I don't want to love them. I'm not going to hate them. Why do you command me to love them? Love. How do you command someone to love something or someone? It's like we have certain days we're commanded to be happy on them. It's part of our religion. This is what we do. So are we commanded here? According to the Gemara, no. According to the Rambam, seems like yes. He quotes the word simcha. The Rashal, Shlomo Luria, the Taz, they bring down that therefore, also, there is a mitzvah to be happy here. Which is why you find Maran makes no mention. Shalok v'um nishtav simcha. This holiday was not established for rejoicing, for being happy. But the Ramah says, yes, there's a little bit of a mitzvah to be happy here. The Ramah is trying to incorporate the Rambam into the Halacha here. And Maran says, but it's not true. It's not true that you have to be happy. There's no obligation like that. Now, Pelet in his notes writes, "V'haminhag." The custom is you don't have to be happy. The custom is like Maran, not like the Rambam. There's no, you don't have to go. What does it mean to be happy, by the way, in Halacha? When it says you're commanded to be happy, aside from singing and dancing, what is the halachic definition?
Yayin and basar.
Yeah, yayin and basar. To eat, drink wine and eat meat. Every day of Chol Hamoed, for example, you must drink a glass of wine. Every day. It's part of the biblical obligation of the day. Most people don't do this.
Every day.
You mean
Every-
just drink wine without any kind of
No,
ceremony?
every single, yeah, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you want to do, to drink wine. On the holiday itself, you have kiddush, so you fill the.
And you're supposed to eat meat too?
You're supposed to eat. Now, okay,
If
if
it's
the
a-
person
if it's a
doesn't like
simcha
meat,
food.
so then it's not a simcha for them.
Okay.
But the assumption going here is that people
Vegetarian.
don't
I
eat
mean-
meat every day of the week, and therefore, for them, they love meat, and they're just waiting for that next excuse they could slaughter a cow and share it in the neighborhood. The realities have changed for some people. For some people, you've been to Shabbat tables. People they love eating a lasagna. So for them, that's a simcha. You have to, so for our chachamim, we're speaking in terms that are
Mainly food makes you happy.
very good. So you should eat things that make you happy.
And the Beit HaMikdash,
Chocolate.
of course,
What?
it corresponds with that.
Yeah,
Yes, with
so
this.
food.
Correct.
Offerings and
Correct.
You know.
yayin and
But the minhag is that you don't have to be happy. When my wife saw this, she almost threw me out of the window. What kind of, who has a custom not to be happy? That's not what it means. It means is
Not to
we
be
didn't
happy.
accept on ourselves all of these stringencies like other holidays to be happy about them. Shon Chassidim, Chanukah is a huge experience. It's like 8 days of singing and dancing and tish and rebbes and the candles. And I don't know that the rest of the Jewish people celebrate Chanukah quite in the same fashion as the Chassidic community does.
They don't work? The
That's a
Hasidim?
good question if they work
everyone's falling
the rest
asleep
of the year
from the
also. No, those who work, and many of them don't work.
Just turn it.
Not everybody. It's not a holiday. It's
all
not
the way
like
to the
Purim where we
left.
don't
Three
work.
clicks, yeah.
Right.
There you go.
But I'll ask my wife. We'll ask her. I don't know. I can't tell you on this stream what is done. Halil. What is Halil? We have only certain days where we finish the Halil. I mean, we say full Halil. For our rabbis to institute days of full Halil, it's a pretty big statement. It's not. It's saying this is on the same category of the first 2 days of Pesach or all the days of Sukkot.
So it's the only holiday that is not a Yom Tov?
It is a Yom Tov. Maran says Yamim Tovim. The question is, in which
Hanukkah
way
is
is it
a
Yom
Yom
Tov?
Tov?
Hanukkah is a Yom Tov, literally a Yom Tov.
But it's a derabanan, not
But
Okay.
D'oraita.
Okay.
That's already a different status. I guess it's diverting a little bit, but I guess Yom Ha'atzmaut now would be considered.
This is where it comes from. Is what happened on Hanukkah and Purim that allowed us to establish a holiday? Is what happened in Yom Ha'atzmaut similar enough to be able to establish a similar holiday? That's the question. And I think I have a few classes on this, but the bottom line is some say yes, some say no. We say yes, other people say no. That's the story here.
Like,
The Rambam
You
says,
say yes. I say
the Rambam writes, B'chol yom v'yom, in every one of the days, Mechet Hayamim, of these 8 days elu, Gomorim et Halel, you finish the Halel.
no. Oh, it's in here.
Mivarech alav, and what is the blessing you say when you finish the Halel of Chanukah? Baruch ata Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu ligmor et Halel. To finish the Halel, says the Rambam. Like it is in our Siddur. That's what it says in our Siddur.
is that done with Ashkenazim?
No, I'm not going to tell you why right now. Hagot
I
Maimonit.
remember that.
There's a commentary called the Hagot Maimonit on the Rambam. And he says Maharam. Maharam was one of the great rabbis in Ashkenaz in the times of the Rishonim. Nahag lomar likro. He had a custom to say to read the Halel. Not to finish the Halel, to read the Halel. Why did he have this custom? Meaning that Maharam, everyone agrees the original blessing on Halel, when a full Halel, was ligmor with the Halel. Where did this custom of saying likro at the Halel, to read the Halel, develop from?
Maybe there was some different opinions about what is the complete halal.
Okay, it's not what you're saying, but you're onto something.
Because there's something at the end, there's like an extra bracha at the end that not everybody says, right?
Let me read to you this and you'll see. She'im yidaleg v'yishkach ot echad. He was afraid maybe he'll forget one word or he'll skip a letter when he's reading the Halel. V'nimtza shelo gamar the Halel, and it turns out that he didn't finish the Halel, and maybe his blessing is in vain, and then it's a whole problem. So his word, I'm going to say the blessing to read the Halel, not to finish. Maybe I won't finish. Maybe I'll make a mistake. This is where the custom of Ashkenaz came from. The Rosh,
You mean just because you're afraid you're not going to say
the
word.
whole every letter properly, then maybe it'll count that I didn't say the full Halel.
To make
The Rosh, who's an Ashkenazi rabbi, yeah, he's a German rabbi, he writes, this is not a good enough reason. They should not care at all about this. Ki ligmor, because even if you skip the word ligmor, to finish, havi pirusho likrot. It means the same thing as to read the Halel. You'll find in the Mishnah it says Vatikin hayu gomorim ota. That those who prayed Vatikin would finish the Shmoneh Esrei at a certain point. Finish. It means to complete something, to read something, to finish reading something. And the Tur in Orach Chaim, he says the same thing. The Ashkenazi custom used to be also to say the Gemara Halel. And as time went on, the Maharam's opinion gained traction, and it became the Ashkenazi custom to say the Gemara Halel by a full Halel as well, not just by a half Halel.
So, I always get confused with a half halal now, especially if you're at home. You don't say any bracha, right? Or you say just l'kro. And then if it has to be an Ashkenaz person, it says l'kro.
There are 3 opinions about Halel. Half Halel. The opinion of the Rambam, which is you cannot make a blessing on half Halel at all. It is not strong enough of a custom that allows us to make a blessing on it. That is the custom of the Yemenite community. It was the custom of the Sephardic communities in Israel, which followed the Rambam. There's the custom of Rabbi Yonatan, the Tosfot. And he says the custom in Ashkenaz is to make a blessing on the half Halel. Not just on the half Halel in public, but also in private. If you're praying at home, you also make a blessing on the half Halel. Hashem sometimes only Kehillat Halel. The Rambam obviously considers that a blessing in vain. Maram is ambiguous. He says, in Israel it's proper to follow the Rambam's custom, or there are many who follow the Rambam's custom, but outside of Israel, that's why many Sephardic communities like Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, they all said a blessing on the Halel because they were not the Sephardic communities who lived in the Rambam's territory. They were the Sephardic communities who lived outside of the Rambam's territory, and therefore they didn't have to give in to his opinion of reading the Halel without a blessing. The question is, what happens when the Jews came to Israel? So now we're a community that 2,000 years of making a blessing on the half Halel. Ashkenazim, okay, they come to Israel, they don't accept the Rambam as the ruling authority in Israel. The Sfaradim who do we have to give up our custom? The Iraqi rabbis, like Chaim Yosef, says, yes, give it up. It's in Morocco, do whatever you want. In Israel, this is the Rambam's territory. The Moroccan rabbis say, with all due respect, we came here as a community, and the custom is those who come as a community have now created a new community in the land of Israel that may not have existed here before, but we are autonomous from the Rambam's opinion, just like the Ashkenazi community is autonomous from the Rambam's opinion. The bottom line, it seems like, according to us, the Sfaradim, who make a blessing on half Hallel, the best situation is to allow someone, Ashkenazi, to make a blessing on half Hallel. Because according to all opinions, he's definitely allowed to make a blessing on half Hallel. That's what our parents does. We go to a minyan where the Shlech Tzibur is Ashkenazi. He's for sure allowed to make the blessing. So we are included in his blessings. If not, though, those who want to make a blessing, they're allowed to. Chacham Ovadia Yosef would scream right now. He would say it's a blessing in vain. It's not the custom among the rest of the Sephardic Jews. But at home, the Sephardic halacha, even those of us who make a blessing on half Hallel, is that when we're praying without a minyan, we don't make a blessing on half Hallel at all. So we just read it without the blessings.
So what is the reason why Hanukkah is the only holiday where you say that you finish Hallel and the other times you
We do it on Pesach and Sukkot also.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we do. Whenever we say a full
Oh,
Hallel.
I see.
It reminds me of Purim, that even though it's a rabbinic holiday, we're very meticulous in reading Megillah, not to speak during it, that it's one mitzvah from beginning to end, to get every word right, to hear the blessing at the beginning and end. It's like it's one.
Our rabbis have the ability to create halachot. They do. If only the rabbis, the leading rabbis of our generation, felt the same authority, it would be a different place.
We have to go to the airport, so
All right, let's have to go.
thank you. Pick up Ariel. We won't be here tomorrow night, but
Okay,
we'll
that's
be back next
fine.
week.
Okay.
Thank you.
She's here with her husband?
He's coming from.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Welcome, welcome.
They're going to LA tomorrow.
Who is coming up?
Airport.
Daughter. Plane's landing early, so we have to leave.
Right. Chanukah. We don't go to cemeteries on Chanukah. Even if it's a yortzeit. Someone's yortzeit on Chanukah, we go either before or after, but not on Chanukah. Some say you should go before. Before is better than afterwards. The Ben Ish Chai mentions that it is permissible to go to the graves of tzaddikim, of righteous people, on Chanukah. And Ashkenazim is the custom, the Geshe Chai brings down that if it's a yortzeit that falls on a Chanukah, there's a custom to be lenient to go. But he writes that even Ashkenazim who are lenient to go to a cemetery on Chanukah for a yortzeit don't say El Malei Rachamim or anything like that. Nothing that would make a person sad. They go to pay respects and they leave, meaning not to make a big commotion out of being at the tombstone.
Does
At
it
the
affect
gravesite.
burials?
What?
Does it affect burials?
Sure, it affects burials in the sense of giving eulogies. I don't know if anyone's ever been to
Still
a
bury, you can still.
Of course, we have to bury. Very
Yeah.
good. That's a good question. We bury, but we don't eulogize. Shiva happens, like
Yeah.
You can keep the body. Forget that.
Well, I mean, on Yontif, usually you wait till the middle days when you have a funeral to have.
It's an interesting question. A young person, a youth, under bar mitzvah, is not able to light Hanukkah candles for you or me because we're over bar mitzvah. They're not. So their blessing is not on the same level as our blessing, and they cannot fulfill our obligation with them. But there's an interesting question. Lighting Hanukkah candles in the Beit Knesset. You're only allowed to light Hanukkah candles in the Beit Knesset with a blessing if you have a minyan. What happens if you have 9 adults and 1 child? Over the age of 6, 7, 8, 9, something that age. They're a mature child. They're not a 2-year-old, not a chana. So in that situation, it's brought down that it's okay to count him as a 10th because maybe not as a minyan, classic minyan, you might not count him, but in this kind of minyan, it's okay to count him in that kind of situation.
The age is 9?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
After 9. You know.
Here's a question: what about women? Would you count a woman in this kind of minyan also? By Purim, we would. There's a
By
certain
Purim
blessing
you
you make in a Megillah only in front of 10 people. Have a parents we hold it 5 men and 5 women together. That makes a minyan for the blessings of Megillah and Purim. My heart tells me that here would be the same thing, but I don't have it written down explicitly that way. So don't hold me to it. Yes.
You don't need 10 men?
Not every minyan requires 10 men.
Yeah.
The minyanim that have to do with prayer, they do. But not all the minyanim that we have require 10 men. As long as Hashem, tomorrow we'll do the Tafrei Shain Aleph, which is how to light Chanukah candles, where do we put it, where do we light it, a lot of details in these halachot. And the reason I'm going through halacha here, I feel like it's important instead of just telling you halachot. You should do a Chanukah to see your eyes, what Shulchan Aruch says, what the Ramah says. It's a good way to learn halachot, to go back to the sources. We've come to a place in the Kola where I think most of us appreciate sources, and we're not everyone is competent enough to understand why Maran says this, Almas says that, but you are. So I feel that it should be that way. To summarize what we said today, Chanukah it's like a middle ground holiday. It's a holiday in many senses of Halel, of Al Nisim, of there's a mitzvah for Chanukah. It's also lacking in a certain area of it. Doesn't have musaf, we mentioned. It doesn't have any obligatory meals. It doesn't have a kiddush. It doesn't have an obligation to eat wine and drink wine or eat meat or anything like that. So it's somewhere in the middle.
Is there any difference between Orthodox, Reform, celebration of Hanukkah?
I have no idea. I am not qualified to answer that question.
Between non-Orthodox and Orthodox.
Yeah, I don't know. I can only tell us what it says in the Shulchan Aruch in front of me.
I
But,
have
yeah.
in class, the teacher is Israeli Jew, and he is not Orthodox, but he, as a family, they light candles, Hanukkah candles.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. What you might be able to walk away with this discussion is something that you may not have thought about. There are two versions of the Chanukah brachot. The first is Baruch Hashem, Asher Gsham Tov Tzivanu, Tadlik Ner Shel Chanukah. That's what you hear in most Ashkenazi communities. Not all. Chabad, for example, doesn't make that blessing. And the Moroccan Jews who are Sephardic do make the blessing. Many of them, Tadlik Ner Shel Chanukah. Like you say, Tadlik Ner Shel Shabbat, right? The Sephardic, the overwhelming majority of the Sephardic community and many Hasidic communities, to say the Hadlik Ner Chanukah.
No shell.
Yeah,
No shell. We don't say shell in my house, for example. The reason. There are many reasons that we're given. One that sits well with me. On Shabbat, how many mitzvot are there on Shabbat to do? What mitzvot are obligated? A person must do them on Chanukah. No, Shabbat.
On Shabbat.
Candles.
Light candles, make kiddush, pray, eat 3 meals, 4 meals really. Okay, 39 prohibitions, a lot of rules that come into Shabbat that are commandments. Purim. How many mitzvot do you have on Purim? There are no candles on Purim, but how many mitzvot?
Read the Megillah.
Gila,
Read the Megillah,
the meal.
the meal, very good, Sudah, Matanot Avyonim, gifts to the poor, Mishlach Manot.
Yeah.
Correct?
Right.
Drinking wine if you add that separate from the meal. Yeah. Chanukah, which mitzvot do you have on Chanukah?
Candles.
Candles. Eating fatty foods, mitzvah? No. Eating dairy foods, mitzvah? No, even according to the Ramah, who brings it down, not as a mitzvah, just as a custom. So, according to this, there's only one mitzvah of Chanukah that makes up Chanukah. That's the reason that I've seen for the Sephardic blessing of the Halik Ner Chanukah. To light a Chanukah candle, because there's nothing else to Chanukah aside from the candle. Why do we say that Ner Shel Shabbat, the candle of Shabbat? Because there are many things of Shabbat. Kiddush Shel Shabbat, Tfilah Shel Shabbat, all kinds of things that you do on Shabbat. The lighting candles is just part of it. Whereas the lighting of the Chanukah candles it is all of Chanukah. That's where this blessing comes from. It doesn't make a difference. Both nuschaot are okay. But if you make Radik Ner Shel, Radik Ner Chanukah, but to understand that we've mentioned that really Chanukah doesn't have any mitzvot aside from lighting candles, that would be the motivation for some Hasidic communities and most of the Sephardic communities, not all, to make the blessing Radik Ner Chanukah and not Ner Shel Chanukah. But either way, it's the same blessing. Hashem understands both. All right. Have a good evening.